Hello, we're live. Hi, welcome to Feelings with the Geekiary. Okay, it's been a while. I'm Erin. I'm here with Admin Angel, Jamie, and Tara. Oh my gosh.
And that's been a long ass time.
We're fans. We have feelings. And this is where we webcast about them. And it's still 2020.
Hard to believe, but
So, as a reminder, you can join the conversation on Twitter with the hashtag GeekiaryFeelings, but also this is a live webcast on YouTube, so you can just comment below as well, because how will we know that we're wrong if you don't tell us? But of course, we're never wrong, so you don't need to correct us.
and we would like to remind all of you that the views expressed on this webcast are those of the hosts as individuals and do not necessarily represent the Geekiary or the webcast itself as a whole.
Very good. Yeah, it's been a while. So we have, it's just one of those times where I think we are just going to catch up and talk about random things. It should be fun. But first, let's talk about news and updates. First of all, don't forget about our Patreon. Angel, you said there's new perks out there.
Yes, we've redone the perks. We started doing monthly blogs that are kind of more personal about us. We had our first AMA with one of our writers that just went up. To get access to that and to get your name on the website is just $5 a month. For $10 a month, you can submit questions for this webcast and suggestions for topics. And then for $25 a month, you get all of that plus merchandise. So whatever merchandise we happen to be making, like we have our lanyards or bags or whatever, twice a year you'll get something from that. So those are new perks.
Excellent. Merch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out the rest of our YouTube channel. Obviously it's been a couple months since we have been up regularly, but we had a ton of quarantine content from earlier in the year. That was fun, and obviously we have other things going on out there too. So
yeah, the Bitching Dead just finished.
Yes. Bitching Dead also
still watches the stupid Walking Dead TV shows.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do it, but it's okay.
I don't
either. And also don't forget to check out the Geekyary's news section. What are some recent news stories you want to touch on? Jamie.
So if you're a fan of Lee Bardugo's Grishaverse novels, the Shadow and Bone Netflix teaser finally posted, and we got the release date sort of. So it's coming in April 2021, and I posted about the teaser in the on the website, so make sure you check that out, because it's a teaser, so there's very little in it, but it's more than we've gotten in the year and a half since they announced this. So yay.
Wow, when you said April 2021, I'm like, yeah, that's like a year from now. And I had to stop and think.
That's not a real year.
It's already December of this year. Oh my gosh.
It's like past middle of December.
I know.
Almost,
yeah.
You know? Well, yeah, and I saw the Shadow and Bone teaser too, and I just was like, all the news that I've been seeing was really projecting it to come out if not before the end of this year, which obviously that wasn't going to happen as of a month ago, but people were still saying January, maybe February at the latest, and it's April. Oh my god! Especially since I just reread all of those books.
It will be here before you know it.
Oh my gosh!
I wish it
5 months, I guess. 4 months. So news I've been writing about, I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm hyper fixated on one thing right now. And it's all I tweet about, is the Heaven Official's Blessing, story. It's a book, manga, and an anime. I mean, technically it's called a donghua, but also it got announced that it's going to have a live action adaptation, which I'm a little weary of, but, that's a thing that's happening apparently. And so I'll be covering that, I guess. We'll see how that plays out.
Yes. I have no news. My life has been a little weird. Let's just go straight into discussion then and talk about why our lives are so weird, other than we still can't go anywhere or do anything. You know, I see under discussion we have like a little like document to help with the outline, and everyone's just like working. So I guess that's what we've been doing. So what have we been up to?
You're looking at it. Like,
I mean, I can start, I guess, but you go ahead.
My job is still doing, like, we're not fully back in the office yet, so we're still doing the one person in at a time. But they keep giving us like more work to do, and there's no more people, so it's like very frustrating because like this was all stuff we were supposed to take over before COVID happened. And so with COVID, everything got pushed back because we're not there. Like we can't keep up with all this stuff. But corporate was just like, yeah, cool, it's gonna happen anyway, and gave us like no warning. And so I have to go into the office next week. It's my turn. And like Monday is our first day, like officially taking over like this other aspect of like kind of hard to explain without like getting into it, but I don't want to reveal too much about my job.
I feel that.
But like, there's only one person in my department that's been trained on this, and she was trained in like January because we were supposed to take it over in like March, and then COVID happened. And so yeah, so it's like, we have to go. Well, we were supposed to take it over when we moved into the new building. We were supposed to move in March. That didn't happen. So we moved in August, but because we only have one person in at a time, my boss was like, we can't do this yet. Like, this is just not going to work out with the way that things are. And then like a week and a half ago, they're like, yeah, we don't care. You're doing it anyway. So that starts on Monday. So I'm like, I have to go in and do all of the stuff that we normally have to do at work. And so I have to cover for somebody that's out next week. And I did not know about that until Thursday. Thank you so much. So I have to do that. And then I have to learn this new thing. So I'm like, yay. And I have to work on Christmas. So like,
wonderful.
Wow.
But I get to do Christmas remotely, so it won't be that bad. But I still have to work on Christmas.
Just spike some eggnog and work. Not that I'm condoning that, but
Bring yourself some eggnog.
How many people are going to call you on Christmas? You can just be sitting there like drinking all day.
No, I'm totally watching Christmas movies. Like, I mean, I normally do that anyway. So like, Christmas is a very quiet day in my job.
Unless a celebrity dies on Christmas or something.
Basically, like honestly, I think the worst Christmas I worked was like that when it was like Carrie Fisher died and then Debbie Reynolds died like 3 days later. Like that was probably the worst Christmas to work, just in terms of like actual work. That,
oh God, for people who might be tuning in who don't know the context of your job and why celebrities die.
I work in a news archive. And so, like, whenever a celebrity dies, we get very busy because, like,
it's an ongoing joke in the Geekiary, like, admin chat that whenever a celebrity dies, we're like, Jamie, are you working today?
Jamie, are you okay? Are you still alive out there?
My family does it too. My sister will be like, I think when Sean Connery died, my sister texted me and she's like, Sean Connery died. Do you have to work today? And I'm like, no, I don't.
Are you kidding?
But yeah, so it's like ordinarily, like I will be like at work, like, and before when we were in the old building, there was literally like nobody in the old building. Like we're coming in on Christmas would be like me, like 3 security guards, and like couple maintenance people and like the janitors. Like that was it in the entire building. And so like I used to bring in like Christmas cookies and candy canes and pass them out to like everybody else because there'd be like 7 people in the building. And then I would sit there, and we still do. We had a massive DVD collection as part of the archive. And so I would round up all of the Christmas movies from DVD archive. And like I have a portable DVD player that I keep at my desk, and so like I would just watch Christmas movies, and then I started doing it like on Netflix or whatever, because like somebody just needs to be there in case there's breaking news. We don't like there's very little work to do, and nobody really expects you to do a whole lot on a holiday. You just sort of have to be there in case something happens. So I'm totally like, yeah, I'm like, no, I'm making
watch.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was like, Christmas Eve, and then I'm just gonna sit on Christmas. I'm just gonna sit there with like cookies and watch. I'm very excited because the Christmas Setup and Dashing in December, which are two of the LGBTQ holiday movies that were on the list that I posted earlier, are on demand on my cable. So that is what I'm watching Christmas Day.
Nice. I'll be watching Wonder Woman on Christmas Day. I think that comes out on Christmas.
It does come out on Christmas.
I feel like if you have to work on Christmas, it's that you probably, like you said, it sounds like you have a good plan, at least.
Wonder Woman is what I said, Sarah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's okay.
I could probably pick up some eggnog. I was going to go to the grocery store tomorrow and pick up my normal Christmas dinner meal, if they have it. And then I also wanted to get some sparkling grape juice for New Year's.
Oh.
I don't really drink, so.
Who's next?
All right. So, I mean, what I've been doing besides work is basically my fandom hyperfixation, which is the thing that I started talking about earlier. Heaven Official's Blessing. The dongwa comes out every Friday, except yesterday it was delayed by like 12 hours. And the fandom was like having a complete meltdown. So last night was really interesting to me because we're all just sitting there like, where's the episode? Where's the episode? And it didn't go anywhere. But finally they posted it at like 5 a.m. this morning, and I got up to watch it at 5 a.m. and then went back to sleep. Because this is what a hyperfixation does, is you get narrowly focused on one topic, and that's currently mine. But as a result, I've started taking Chinese lessons, and just as we were starting, the Duolingo owl started yelling at me.
Oh my gosh! So I started picking up. I've been using Duolingo too, and I've been taking French. I took French in high school, and actually had done like actually a bit in college as well. And I was like, I want to really go back, and like it's just going to be easier for me to try to pick up a language that I already knew. But like while I was like over my birthday weekend and stuff, I like didn't do it for like 5 days in a row, and I got a notification the other day that was like, well, you're ignoring our notifications, so we're going to stop sending you notifications. And I was like, oh,
It makes
I'm so sorry, little owl, but like, I don't have time.
It's like, yeah, they email you every day for like 5 days, and after 5 days, they stop emailing you. So I'm like,
There's this meme where this person got a Duolingo alert on their phone, and then like immediately after got an alert that someone was breaking into their house. It's like the Duolingo owl breaking into the house to like lecture you about not learning your language. But
before you keep going, I am also learning Korean.
Oh my gosh.
So we're just all like expanding our horizons right now.
Well, because what else do we have to do?
Hyperfixations lead us to these things because you're currently into K-pop, or at least one specific band.
Sorry, we'll talk about that later.
And then I'm into this hyperfixation, this one specific story, and we're just like, okay, this is a great excuse to pick up another language. I highly doubt I'm going to get anywhere near like close to fluent at all, because like some of the lessons they just give you the words, which is in a completely different alphabet because it's Mandarin, and I'm just like, I have no idea what any of this says. Like, so like I keep screwing up. Like, it's really bad.
Yeah, I applaud you guys for that, because honestly, like I've been the Duolingo stuff has been super easy for me with French, because I started at the beginning and it keeps wanting me. It's like, level up. You already know all this stuff, and I'm like, no. I really do want to start from the bottom and work my way up. Okay, like it's like I remember stuff, but I it's not going to be drilled into my brain unless I really study it from the beginning.
You don't want to start out with past participles? Come on.
But you know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine, like, and so it's not been hard for me, but like, really, that's only because I already knew so much. And also, this is still a language that's based in, it's not like Chinese. The same alphabet. It's not Chinese or Korean where you're literally learning like,
and Latin based too, so it has the same base as English.
And I also took Latin for several years in high school. So
I took French in high school, and I like maybe 3 or 4 years ago I started doing French on Duolingo, but without like having a specific interest that's related to the language. I stopped after like a week or two because I'm like, there's no purpose. But like with Chinese, like I am watching this show every single day. Like while I'm working, the show is playing in the background. I have songs from the show like on my iTunes playlist. Like I'm hearing it every single day. So like I actually have an interest in the language, whereas French, I just kind of lost it. And like I looked at when I last like deleted Duolingo off my phone because the owl kept yelling at me. And I've already surpassed how much I did in French. Like I'm on 18 straight days in a row, and with French I went like 6.
So, yeah, I mean I went something crazy. I went like 59 or something before finally not doing it. I missed like a day. The first part, I was on vacation from work and stuff for like a week for my birthday. And so like I missed like a day, and then I picked it up for like 2 or 3 days, and then I missed another day. So at this point I've missed like a week, but I still like, I'll get back to it. I absolutely will. I just like,
Al's gonna be all sad when you come back. Like, you abandoned me.
You lost your streak. Minus 6,000 hearts or whatever they do.
I started with Duolingo, and I was like, I can't handle this stress. So I am doing something else. But yeah, Korean is it's hard. The alphabet was very easy to learn. It's very phonetic. So like, you know, you can look at a word or whatever and figure out how to say it pretty easily. But yeah, learning what the words mean, you're like, I don't know. And then plus Korean, like so many of the words have so many words have different words. Like it's the same word for like I and snow. And you're like, so what are we talking about here exactly? Like you have to have the whole context, otherwise you have no idea what's happening. And that's tough. Plus, and I don't know how much Mandarin does this, but like in Korean, there's lots of different variables for if you're talking to someone older or polite, impolite. And it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just watching some K-dramas. So
I haven't even gotten to that point yet, but I've picked that up because of my hyperfixation. Like when I was reading the book, like it was a fan translation, and they would have author's notes or translator's notes about how they translated it. And like in this situation, they said, and then they would put the letters I don't understand, but and it was like because this was an older male or something. And like, so I've learned more from the actual fan translation notes than Duolingo at this point when it comes to that, because like Duolingo, it's very much like, this is the number 1 and this is what it looks like. Tap, tap. That's it. Like there's no context. Like,
I should also tell you, sorry, finish your thought. And then
I was just going to say, I feel like I'm going to have to look up outside context to get more like in depth. That's all.
Well, and so I was just going to mention that, we'll talk about BTS when you get to me, but BTS has like this whole section on their fan website. It's hard to explain, where they do lessons with you in Korean. But they also sell this really great set called Learn Korean with BTS. And it's like this set of 5 books. And it comes with like a pen that you like trace over the words and they talk to you. And it's like at the end of each lesson, they're like, we love you, keep going. And I'm like, how can you not become fluent when they're encouraging you and telling you they love you at the end of every lesson? But it's very like, it's not for beginners. And I feel like they should tell you that because, you know, you're like, okay, learn Korean with BTS. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And then they like expect you to already know Hangul, which is the alphabet. And like, they like expect you to know like all of this stuff. And I was like, this is not for beginners. Maybe we should tell people this is not for beginners. But anyway, that's we talked a lot about languages. It's fun.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Because I mean, I don't know why, but I'm like getting obsessed with the language too. Like even more than I got obsessed with Japanese. And I've been a fan of anime since I was 7 years old, which is a long time ago. So like, but I never got super obsessed with Japanese. But for some reason, I don't know why, but I'm falling into this language hole. But I can move on to my next topic too. If anyone have any other comment on the language? Okay.
Keep going.
The Mandalorian has also been an obsession of mine. Not nearly as strong at this point, which I feel bad saying because it was my hyperfixation last December. But I like, oh God, someone is starting construction in my apartment. Anyway,
It's okay. We can't hear it.
good. And all the other Star Wars stuff that got announced, which honestly I can't remember all of them, and I don't have a list pulled up. But at the end of the last, I know. But at the end of the last Mandalorian episode, they actually announced something else, which wasn't on that list, which was, I think it's called the Book of Boba Fett or something, which they kept quiet, even though they had a huge event where they announced like half a dozen new things, and they didn't mention that one because they wanted everyone to like find it out at the end. But I was watching it, and when it got to the end and started the credits, I'm looking at it like, no, there's way too much time left for this to be credits. So I just kept watching, and then they had a little extra at the end.
Do you think that is because there was supposed to be like a Boba Fett movie, wasn't there? And then they decided not to do one?
Yeah. So here's what I thought, and I could be wrong, Tara. You probably know more because I feel like you're more into the deeper Star Wars stuff than me. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, here's what I thought happened. I thought originally there was going to be a Boba Fett spin-off movie. And then at some point, I thought that they decided to do The Mandalorian instead of the Boba Fett movie. And that's what I thought happened because they suddenly stopped talking about Boba Fett in all their announcements and events and instead started talking to The Mandalorian. So they never actually said they were replacing it with The Mandalorian, but I kind of made that assumption because when they stopped talking about one thing, they started talking about the other, and they're both well, Boba Fett, I guess, is not technically a Mandalorian, but he's got the armor, so whatever. But then suddenly he's still getting something as well. I don't know if it's a TV show or a movie, though. So, surprise!
Yes. Originally, they were going to do a Boba Fett movie, but that got, honestly, unfortunately, after Solo bombed the way it did, all of these like extra movies and stuff got put on hold. So it was always kind of like, I don't know if they canceled them indefinitely, but they were like, this isn't happening anytime soon, essentially. So my guess is if they're calling it the Book of Boba Fett, it's especially because the Mandalorian episodes are chapter whatever, that it is going to be a show. However, I also think it's probably going to be a one-off season, like 6 or 8 episodes where we'll get one season of it if it is a show. I actually was kind of confused because when that thing aired at the end of The Mandalorian, I was like, wait, so they already said The Mandalorian is airing in Christmas of next year. So why, so is the third season of The Mandalorian actually going to be about Boba Fett? And we're not, but it's not. Disney clarified, I guess today, maybe it could have been, or late yesterday, they did clarify that no, it is 2 separate things. So this isn't like taking over The Mandalorian for a season or whatever. But which also to me is weird because it's like, I don't know, why would you do that, Disney Plus? Like, you need to keep your subscribers and you don't really have much else going on, but like, fine, whatever. But yeah, they in the end, like, my boyfriend was actually like, I don't know, think about it this way. Like, it's sort of like a like an Arrowverse like crossover situation. You have to have them airing at the same time if they're going to cross over with each other. So maybe that's what they're doing. So smart boyfriend person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Disney Plus has a lot of stuff announced and like nothing scheduled. Like they have
Exactly.
so much stuff that it's like, oh, this is gonna be coming at some point in the future, but
and it's like and it's like they're not going to keep subscribers between now and whenever just because somebody is like honestly, if I paid for the 3-year thing because it was like
me too. It was so cheap.
Yeah, it was like $160 for 3 years. It's like nothing.
I know.
But like in terms of streaming sources, but at the same time, like I also share my Disney Plus with like 6 other people. So
I think at least a couple of people here I share it with. I mean, it's my account.
Like, listen,
It's the only thing I have.
we're all incestuous. Shh, don't tell anybody, but like we're all incestuous with these. Like I have somebody's Hulu, that person shares my Disney Plus. I have somebody else's Netflix, that person also shares my Disney Plus. You know.
So funny thing, me and my current girlfriend share like half of our stuff with each other, but we used to joke before we were actually partners that if like they ever called us out, we can say, "Oh no, we're girlfriends. We're just sharing it because it's the same household." And now we actually are, so it's not even an excuse anymore. We're legit sharing it within our household, even though we don't live together yet. But yeah,
That's adorable.
But yeah, I find it interesting because when Solo bombed, which I mean I liked Solo, it wasn't the best, but it was fun and I still enjoyed it. But when Solo bombed, but then The Mandalorian did well, maybe they're trying to shift gears and do mostly TV shows because the TV shows, or at least this show anyway, is doing really well. So maybe that's their new strategy.
Well, and I also honestly think that with everything going on and things being the way they are, particularly with nobody knows what's going to happen with movie theaters. All these major studios are making deals with HBO, what I mean? Like, I honestly think that for them, it's like, wait a minute, we're going to spend how much money to put this in theaters when we can just put it in our streaming app? And they're going to raise the price of that shit sometime soon.
Yeah, thankfully, I mean, we're at 1 year for Disney Plus, so you and I have 2 years left before we have to deal with a price hike, and hopefully by then they'll have some other sweet deal. Hopefully.
Yeah, Netflix is going up this month.
$2 or $3 a month, right?
Yeah, something like that. Because it's like every time I logged into Netflix, it would be like, your price is like, your subscription is going up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm aware. Trust me.
And Funimation, it has bought Crunchyroll, so those are going to be combined, which means that price is going to also go up, which is going to be weird.
Yeah, I only have Crunchyroll, so I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Congratulations, you're going to have Funimation now.
It's like they don't know anything because they were just like, this is going to happen, but we don't have any information yet.
When I wrote my article about it, I speculated a lot for like 1,000 words of speculation. Like, what does this mean? Will they combine? Will the price go up? Like, will they have all subs and dubs in one place? Like, and the answer is we don't know. We have no idea at this point. But if I were a betting person, I would put money on it. At the very least, the price is going to go up. At the very least, that is certain. Everything else, though, who knows? I have one more thing if nobody else has anything else on Star Wars, and this is silly. But you guys are aware of this because I've been talking about it in chat. Sushi Cat.
Yes. I'm so excited about this.
So,
Sushi Cat, Stephanie.
These are the 2 that I have so far. These are blind boxes where you don't know what cat of sushi that you're going to be getting. And I bought 2 more that are unopened.
Oh no, you can't. I was gonna show you my cat. She's very excited. She wants to see.
I'm gonna open the Sushi Cats. So these are the ones that I've already opened.
So
and these are the new ones.
You're gonna do an unboxing?
I'm gonna do an unboxing of these 2 right now. And these are the possibilities, Sushi Cats, that will go with my current existing ones. I love these things.
The same ones.
They're different boxes, if you can see. So hopefully,
okay.
that means that they won't be. But these 2 are the same. So we'll see. Sushi Cat box. Let's find out what kind of.
This is like the highlight of our webcast. Look at us all like.
Okay,
What
let's find it.
surprise cat is she gonna get? Is it gonna be the one that looks like marmalade?
So this one. Sushi cat. Okay, so that's one.
Wait, let me see. Wait, I want to see his little face. What coloring does it have? It's
Looks
a little
like
tabby, little
brown
tabby,
and
brown
white.
tabby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second box. Let's find out. I just love that it like cries diamonds too. Like it's so ridiculous.
Why
am I sushi?
Why am I sushi? Oh my god.
I don't know, kitten. I really don't know. Why are you sushi? Is the question of the day. Okay, let's find out.
I feel like I actually kind of want to buy some of these for my boyfriend's kid. Like,
oh my god, this one's so cute.
Love them.
This one's got a lobster and a leek on it. Like,
No.
there in the leek. This is so cute. Okay, I'm putting them all.
It's like the Why Am I Sushi Cat? It was far-fetched.
Right? Okay, I'm putting them all together, so now I have like epic Why Am I Sushi.
Can you just put like one key on them? Just a single key, like your mailbox key. So you go to your mailbox, and when you try to open, I'm assuming you have a key for your mailbox, because you live in an apartment. So like, you go to your mailbox, and you just got like jingly 600 YMO sushi.
Yes, it's gonna be my plan now. All right, that was it. The unboxing of sushi cats. Now I'm just linking them all together.
Oh my god, amazing! I love it.
Okay. Yes. I'm sorry, that was like so fun. I don't know why. Why is that so fun? They're just so cute.
I know, like you can get them on Amazon too. Like after the first time that she posted about it on Facebook, I was like, I need these in my life, and I like immediately searched and I was like, oh, you can get these on Amazon? Like they're not even like expensive. You can get them Prime, and I actually have kind of forgotten about it, but now I feel like I need them, and I also kind of want to send like some random ones to my boyfriend's kid and be like, hey, I know you don't even like sushi, but you do like cats, and also
they sell them at my grocery store, so whenever I go grocery shopping, they're there. I wanted to get some to send to my girlfriend's kids, but they didn't have them when I was Christmas shopping. They were out, and I thought that was the end of sushi cat for me forever. I'm like, they're done. They're never going to order these silly little things again. And then I went grocery shopping over the last weekend, and like they were there, and I'm like, yoink, like a few more.
honestly, listen, like these are the things that should make us happy. Like these are the things that we have to get excited about right now, and I am 1000% behind that.
Do what I can, man. Do what I can. They sit on my work desk and stare at me as I work.
They do actually. They do look very scary, like they're kind of judging you.
Yeah,
like, why am I sushi, and why are you not working?
Why am I sushi?
Also, actually, you know, I was gonna like mention this later, but first of all, if you guys have not seen this movie called A Talking Cat ? Exclamation point ? Maybe it's exclamation point ? No, I think it's ? Exclamation point ? It's on Amazon Prime. It's free. It's a terrible, terrible movie and absolutely hilarious. So if you haven't seen it, if you like Why Am I Sushi, you'll also like A Talking Cat.
You know, bad movies can be fun sometimes, especially when you're highly intoxicated.
Yeah, it is. Listen, this honestly, this movie, the first time I watched it, super sober, and it was still absolutely freaking hilarious. Like it is so bad. It's not like The Room bad where you're cringing. It's like, oh gosh, how did this get made?
Oh, goodness.
For fun purposes.
I would guess so. There's also there's actually several punctuation movies, as my friends and I have started calling them. So there's also one about a talking horse, or it's a talking pony, I believe. And I think there's one more as well that has something to do with like a stepbrother or something. I don't know. They all have ridiculous. I know, right? They all have ridiculous punctuation. And there's like, here's a cat one, here's a pony one, and then there's also one about like a stepbrother or something. That's like, wait, what?
That's quite the deviation there.
Interesting.
Well, so yeah, I mean, if we're talking about what we've been doing, I've been watching a shit ton of bad movies. I actually work medical field adjacent. So I work in continuing medical education. So my job has been absolutely insane this year. Some of that being that we put on these activities at conferences, which cost a lot of money, right? Well, there's no conferences this year. So we still have the grants, but we're spending way less. And also we used to put on other ones that we shot in studios, like actual studios, but nobody's going to studios. They're all like the doctors that we work with are doing it all from their homes. So everything is so much less expensive that we've been able to put on a crap ton more. We've done actually a whole bunch of COVID-19 specific ones that like focus on certain treatment areas. Like we did one a couple weeks ago that was how to, work with IBD patients, which is irritable bowel. But yeah, it's not fun. But in like COVID-19 times, but like we actually have an entire like COVID-19 section on our website, and it's been really cool because I've been getting to learn a lot about the vaccination stuff from the doctors that we work with and everything. So work has been absolutely crazy and insane this year. Like I usually am busy way more often than I'm not with work, but it has been easy. I mean, that's why I haven't done a webcast with you guys since like April, because I don't have time. But I'm lucky if I finish work before 7 every night.
My job is
work. Sorry, I was going to say I work in a medical field as well, the insurance side of things. But thankfully, like I'm an hourly worker, so they like as soon as it's 8 hours, they want me to stop and leave. So, but I've been dealing a lot with the COVID stuff too. But the one time when I'm grateful to be an hourly employee is because they can't just throw giant amounts of work at me like that. But
yeah,
it's a scam.
It's not even.
It's a scam to go exempt. Don't do it if you're ever offered a scam.
Yeah. But at the same time, like I really, really love. I actually weirdly. I was like a history major. I only got into this job by chance, and I've only been with them for about 3.5 years. And I actually really love it. Like what I do for the company, I do like statistics. So it's not like what I do doesn't necessarily make a difference to like random people, but I feel like the company that I work with is making a difference, and like as we can, like educating doctors properly, with specialists and fields and stuff. So it's been a really long, trying, hard year, and very, very, very busy. And we definitely need more people in my department. But at the same time, like I'm super grateful for a job. I'm super grateful that we were all remote way before. Like I've been working remote since I started with this company, so I didn't have to like transition. So it's been very interesting, like watching my other friends transition, and also like watching the whole world realize that, oh God, we don't have to pay these insane amounts of rent for like these crazy offices. Like 90% of the time, like if you're working in like 90% of jobs can be done like remotely, like yeah. In terms of like office type jobs. I mean,
my company has 2 floors on this high rise downtown, but the lease on one of the floors is up in July, and they just told us this week that they're going to let that lease expire and collapse onto one floor. Because like seriously, 90% of us work from home. The only people that are in the office is the receptionist, the mail people, and then people who do not have internet speeds that can handle like working from home. So like maybe 1 or 2 people per department that don't meet that requirement. That's it. So they're just gonna collapse it down onto one floor.
My job.
Well, I mean, that's gonna kill a lot of shit, but like that's gonna kill the whole, real estate industry in a sense, and also like major downtown areas. But honestly, that stuff needs the idea that you have to be that people have to be in an office to do their job, like that, the fact that that's finally like people are finally learning that's not actually the case is actually really nice. Like, because you don't, and honestly, like I look at like my sister who works for a very large bank. And because she is like a manager, she does have to go into their Greenville office sometimes now, but it's like she's one of very, very few people that ever has to go in there, and she only has to do it like once every couple of months, I think. But otherwise, she does everything from home. And like she has 2 young daughters, and she did not feel comfortable sending them back to school when they like started. Well, and honestly, good for her, because Greenville school system in terms of COVID and stuff is not doing so hot right now. But so the fact that, you know, she can, for the most part, like do her work at home and not have to worry about, like, I know it's frustrating and problematic for her at times, but that's a huge deal, because how many people are there that could have like that couldn't take office jobs because they couldn't pay for, you know, childcare, because childcare is expensive, and it's like it's a catch-22, because then you're looking at, okay, well then daycares like they're kind of going out too at this point and stuff like that. But yeah, they were too expensive anyway. But that's my personal opinion, I guess.
My job cannot be done remotely, so this is a very interesting. It's been a very interesting year, which is why we have to have somebody that goes into the office to do everything that can't be done remotely, which is pretty much everything. Like we like there's like in the news archives, like there's a physical archive and then there's a digital archive, and I work in the physical archive, and then there's a different department that handles the digital archive. So there is like digital work to do, but it's not my job to do it. Like my boss has been like oh, like help them out, and it's like, okay. But for the longest time, we only had 2 computers, like 2 editing computers to share between the 5 people in my department. So like you could only have 2 people logged in at once. And since it's not our job to do, we don't have a set like numbering scheme. So we work off the same number. So you really can't have 2 people doing it at once anyway, because you'll run into like the same number. So it's been very much like, when you're remote, you have like almost nothing to do. And then when you're in the office, you have all of this stuff to do, and we're only in there 3 days. So like, it's just been very much like the 3 days I'm in the office is like awful. And then I'm remote for 2 weeks, and it's like, I don't have anything to do. So like, it's just been a very weird year.
So here's a question. Do you think they're actually incapable of figuring, or do you think it is actually impossible for your job to be done remotely, or do you think that they are just incapable of figuring out how to make it be done remotely?
I mean, my job involves literally taking tapes, which I won't have access to, and digitizing them in equipment I won't have access to. So it's like, no, it's like that part, it's impossible to be done remotely. So.
Yeah, that was just me trying to like I was just wondering if it was like, because honestly, again, let's be real, there are still companies out there.
No, we actually had to fight to go into the office, because like the higher ups were like, they wanted everybody remote, and we're like, we cannot do our job remotely. And they're like, well, honestly, like, who's going to be ordering this stuff? And we're like, everybody. Do you have any idea how pissed we are? Like, this was like in the past couple of weeks, because like people have dropped off literal boxes of tapes, multiple boxes of tapes for us to digitize, like hundreds and hundreds of tapes. Like, and my boss was just like, oh, that's not that important. And I'm like, no, it is, because it's like kind of our entire purpose. And it's like, and if we don't do it, people are going to get mad, and then they're going to wonder why we exist, and then we're going to lose our jobs. So like, I would rather risk it. Like, I mean, I have to take public transit, which sucks, but like, I would rather risk it going in and keep my job than like just stay at home. And I was like, and people whose jobs can be done remotely do not get to tell the people whose jobs can't get done remotely that they need to work remote. So like, yeah.
I guess we're just all doing the best we can with our jobs.
Yeah, I mean, also, I'm moving across country in like 2 weeks, so there's that.
Congratulations.
So
I may be facing
California. Then?
Hey,
Yes, I'm moving to California.
I think I have a lag. I'm sorry I keep talking over people. I think there's just a delay or something. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I may be facing a similar move, but I can't talk about it yet. So
Yeah, I think potentially everybody on this webcast but me is like
Yes.
Yeah,
I am moving.
mine's only
4
been
weeks.
like 100% or 110% for sure since like a couple, like 2 weeks ago. And we didn't really say anything publicly until about a week ago because there's some other things, that have to be handled. But yeah, I'm moving to California. I hate myself, but I'm doing it.
I'm in a similar situation. The only reason I'm kind of slightly talking about it is because I don't think anyone involved that shouldn't know yet is watching this, but I still don't want like someone to take it and go tell people. This is here forever, but more information coming on my end on that. I'll tell you in chat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for my part, like I'm like I've had like trips this year where like my boyfriend and I have gone back and forth to see each other only because we wouldn't have seen each other otherwise. And it's been rough every time because, like quarantining for like 2 weeks before and then doing the traveling and wearing a mask the whole time and then quarantining 2 weeks afterwards. And when I say quarantining, I mean like literally I do not see another person. Like I order food, I don't go anywhere. I think the only things I've actually had to do was like one time I had to take my cat or my dog to the vet because there was something going on but I don't go into the vet with them or anything. So like it's been rough. Like it's been a really hard year and I don't think this move would be happening this soon, but mostly because I am just really scared to move across the country from like my family and friends. But but yeah, it's been a really like trying, situation. But because of that, now I'm looking at like, okay, so I'm driving across the country and I have to stay in hotels for like 4 days and like eat out for like 5 days. And like, so yeah, it's gonna be real interesting.
I had to move just on island on Oahu, and that was stressful because like the people helping me move my stuff physically, like in the middle of a pandemic with masks on, like it's I don't know. It was very stressful. Moving during this is a very complex situation. Like,
I have a friend that's supposed to move on Wednesday, like in 4 days, and she actually currently has COVID. So I'm not sure how that is going to work, but she decided to take advantage of the fact that rents in Manhattan are stupid cheap because everybody's moving and like landlords are desperate to rent out like their empty, ridiculously priced apartments. And so like the apartment that she got, she's in Hell's Kitchen, which if you don't know is like
my cousin moved during the pandemic for that exact same reason.
Yeah.
He's in New York City too, and he moved to the Hell's Kitchen area, and he was like, I couldn't pass, like my husband and I couldn't pass this up. Like
she's like the apartment
like a quarter is like of what we should be.
$3,000 cheaper. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah, and it's like. I mean, she's big into theater. Not that there's any theater in New York City right now, but it's like Hell's Kitchen. She's on like 9th Avenue, which is like a block away from Broadway. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, I refinanced my house back in May. Like I started the process in April because I kept getting notifications about how much the rates had dropped, and like I saved a crap ton of money by refinancing my house. Like I was able to close out my equity loan and I'm saving like $200 something a month.
Yeah, I couldn't afford to move, but my rent is not like I don't know if this is a thing everywhere because I had a discussion with some of my friends and they were like, "That's so weird," and I'm like, "Okay, but my rent goes up every year. I have to sign a new lease. Blah blah blah." And my rent is not going up this year. And I'm like, hey.
I mean, that's fairly normal. It doesn't happen everywhere, but I mean, yeah, rent going up is a super common thing. But my rent is the same at this place as it was my last place. I only had to move because my last apartment broke. The shower started flooding the apartment, and so the owners decided they would rather sell it than fix it and rent it to me. So I kind of got booted out. It was a complicating situation. So I'm now here, but hopefully my next move, which no one should know about yet, not that
The next
anyone's
move
watching,
that's not happening.
that's not happening. I will hopefully be vaccinated and like things will be on the downturn. So hopefully, you know.
But you're also, I mean, you're also living in a far more what should be a far more expensive area of the island,
that's
correct?
true. I was in kind of the cheaper family area called Makiki, which is mostly like starter family apartment type places, and now I'm a block away from the convention center, which is useless because there's no conventions going on.
Hey, but I know where that is. We walked by that.
Yes, I live like a block from Waikiki now, which I guess should be a lot more expensive, but it's the same price. So.
Oh, for sure it should be. For sure it should be.
Well, I'm moving too in 4 weeks from today.
Yay!
So, yay!
Erin's been trying to move for like a bazillion years.
You started trying before the pandemic hit, and then the pandemic happened, and you're just like, and then like you decided to do it anyway.
Yeah, I just was like, I'm just going to do it anyway because I can't do another winter here. So yeah, I'm moving to Orlando, and it's happening very quick, and I have a lot to do, and I'm going to cry about it now because I'm not really, but I have a lot to do.
I'm literally leaving my house on January 2nd, and I have nothing done. Like I don't even know what I'm bringing with me.
I feel like I'm pretty much buying all new furniture and everything, so I'm really only taking like my personal stuff, which is helpful, but I still, like, I've lived in my current apartment for 10 years. And so there's just a lot of junk I have to clean out. And so, yeah, but man, 4 more weeks of winter. That's it.
My family moved my freshman year of college from the house that I'd grown up in, and I packed the day before. So, but that was just my bedroom. Like the house was different. We actually hired people that packed for us because like everybody in my family's like, yeah, we don't want to pack. And I don't recommend that because then you don't know where anything is. But my stuff was literally just like, I'd be like shelf, like here's a box. Like that was just how I packed because I was 19 and didn't care.
I'm keeping my house as a vacation home. I'm not renting it again after the trash renters that I had the last time I moved away from here. So.
All right. You have anything else you want to talk about, Tara, before we move on? Because otherwise I'm going to talk about things.
I mean, the only other thing was like what we've been doing, and I started a new webcast. It's called Sagas and Sass, and we're focusing on one like book series or like book universe at a time, and we actually chose the Grishaverse first. So we've been covering that since October. We just finished we did the Grisha trilogy in October and November, and then we did Six of Crows in 2 episodes earlier this month, and then we're going to continue with that through April. Like conveniently, we were already planning on continuing it through April. So we'll eventually have an episode covering we'll probably just do one episode covering like the season of Shadow and Bone. But yeah, it's been actually a lot of fun. We have a really weird group of hosts, and I say weird in the most loving way possible. It's myself and my friend Nami, who is POC, and then my friend Nick, who is a lovely poly, dude, and then my friend Jonathan, who is like in his, oh God, I don't want to say his age, but he's middle aged. So it's been like a really interesting, like reading, especially the Grisha trilogy, like a bunch of YA books. It's been a really, really interesting journey so far. So I'm actually really excited about it. I think we're probably going to do Red Rising next, just because they have a lot of books out. But yeah, it's been really fun. So that's it.
Excellent. All right. So I've been into BTS.
Really? I had no idea.
It's completely a
Listen.
surprise.
Listen.
Hey, I watched that concert. It was very good.
They're very good performers. I don't know. Like they bring me joy. They're amazingly talented. They're very beautiful, and there's endless internet content. So basically, it's a perfect storm for me to do nothing with my life other than tweet and watch YouTube videos. So that's what I've been doing. And sorry to my Twitter followers that I've become a BTS stan account. It's just how it goes. But really, if you have not listened to them, they're actually very, very good. And the problem is that if you start, you won't stop. So just take my word for it. Also, because I've been trying to learn Korean more and I've been getting into other K-pop groups and stuff, I've been watching a lot of K-dramas, and well, that's not true. I've started watching K-dramas, and I feel like that's going to also consume my life now. So, but it is helping me a lot with my Korean language, like pronunciation and stuff, which is good. And yes, that is my life, and that and working. So
I'm
Your
here
hair
to
looks
cheer
really
on.
pretty.
What?
Sorry.
Your hair looks really pretty.
Oh, thanks.
I was about to say, I'm here to cheer on hyperfixation. Get that serotonin where you can get it. That's what I'm doing with my Heaven Official's blessing. It's just like narrow focus, get that serotonin, enjoy yourself.
I haven't read anything other than Wang Jan fic in 9 months. So, like, books? What are books? No. Wang Jan.
Get
Weirdly
that
enough,
serotonin.
like I usually have like some sort of thing that I'm hyper fixating on, but I think something about this year and the fact that there's so, with everything going on, I actually have not hyper fixated on anything specific this year. Like it's actually really very strange for me. Like I am ADHD 1000%. So this should be happening, especially right now. But I think I actually think it's the opposite, is because there's so much like anxiety from like real life that like I can't this sounds very depressing, but it's very difficult for me to find like happiness in like one specific thing.
I definitely understand that. And at the very beginning of the pandemic, that's kind of how I was. Like March, April, May, like I could not latch on to anything. And now I have, and I've got this thing, and it brings me joy. Like there was a tweet earlier today, and I haven't looked into it. Apparently there's a new mutation of the coronavirus in England, and it's really bad. And I'm like, I'm gonna go read fanfic of this and this other thing instead. Like, I'm just not even gonna read the article. Like, it's good to know, but like,
I will say this. What I have heard is that it is spreading easier, but it is it's basically like, it's not even like the flu. It's like a bad cold. So it spreads faster. It spreads faster, but it's not as bad. That is what I read.
Because I'm just like, I mean, it sounds horrible, but like I'm doing everything I can do. I'm staying indoors. I only leave to get food. I did make an exception for the protests that were going on, like for Black Lives Matter, but that was like my only exception to not doing anything besides getting food. And like, what else can I do? I'm just gonna go find happiness where I can.
I know. I finally got my hair cut like 2 weeks ago, and I was
I
like,
still haven't done that.
but I did my own bleaching and my own dyeing though. So yeah, go me.
I
But
can't wait to get a haircut.
yeah,
I haven't done that.
it was so long, like I couldn't handle it anymore. And
I
Like,
want to show you how
cut
long
my
mine
own.
is. It's ridiculous.
I've gone and gotten mine trimmed like twice, but my stylist does not. She works from home now, and she only sees like one client per day, I think, and she is like everything about it is like her kids don't go to school, her husband works from home, like she literally doesn't like and even then it's like, you know, I still am like, whatever, it's fine, I'll be fine.
Once I get the vaccine, because I supposedly, according to my state's rules, I should be in the second group to get it because of health issues. Like there's 4 groups, and I'm supposed to be in the second group. But we'll see how that works because they haven't told us how to like qualify for that. Like who do I go?
You have to if you're not a healthcare worker, you have to go to your doctor.
My doctor doesn't know either, though. I've called him twice. Last time I called him was on Thursday, and I'm like, so how do I prove that I have this condition that you've diagnosed me with? And he's like, I don't know. So that's where I'm at.
I don't have a doctor. How does that work?
Yeah, see? So, like, there's no details. My doctor doesn't know, and if you don't have a doctor, what do you do? But, like, once I get vaccinated and you pass that, I think, like, 2 to 4 week period after the second dose, I'm going to get a haircut. I'm going and shopping for clothing. I'm doing everything, like, as soon as I know that that period has passed. But there's just so much information I don't know about how to get it at this point, and my doctor doesn't know either, that I don't know when that's going to be. So...
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of underlying health issues, including asthma and several immunodeficiency issues. Like, I mean, like major issues that I've been in and out of treatment for like several years, and like I still don't think I'm not in probably the first 3 rounds of this vaccine. Like it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be a while. You know,
I
it is
emailed
what it is.
our state health department. I'm like, what are the conditions and how do I prove it? And so they sent me a list of conditions, and my condition was on it. And I'm like, great, but they didn't answer how I prove it. And I didn't want to like respond back sassily, being like, you only answered half my question, because they're the health department.
I would imagine that your doctor can just write a note being like, yes, she has this condition.
But he doesn't. No. So what I did is I requested all my medical records. So I have like a digital copy in my email of all my medical records, but I don't know what to do with it. I just have it there. But like, now what?
I think things will probably be a lot more clear after the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's just an impression that I get. Nobody really knows what's happening right now. Obviously, logistics are... I mean, it happened kind of fast. And
this is a nitpicky thing for me, but it bothers me that they keep saying like, oh, this person is vaccinated. And I'm like, they had their first shot out of 2 shots. They're not technically vaccinated yet. So you really should stop that.
So there's 2 that are approved right now. There's the Pfizer one and the Moderna one. And both of those require 2 vaccines, 2 shots. But there's others that only require 1, but they're not like anywhere near being approved. So they're not the ones coming out. But like they also have different time frames. Like I can't remember which one's which, but like one of them you're supposed to take them 2 weeks apart, and the other one you're supposed to take them 3 weeks apart, and then the other one like takes 2 weeks after the second vaccine, the other one takes 4 weeks after the second vaccine. Like they're so very different, and like I'm going to probably end up getting the Moderna one because Hawaii is very remote, and we don't have very remote. We're in the middle of the ocean. We don't have shit here, y'all. But we don't have a freezer that can hold the Pfizer one in the entire state. The only way we can get the Pfizer one is in these chests with dry ice, and they have to be distributed like very, very quickly once they get here because the dry ice doesn't keep them cool enough, like long enough. So they delivered the Pfizer ones to certain hospitals, and like the frontline workers are getting that. But like for the rest of us, like we're probably going to end up getting Moderna because we just don't have any way to like get the Pfizer one out here. It gets here and it has to go immediately, like into a person like immediately. Like,
yeah, because it's an mRNA. They're very but that's the problem though. The only way they could get a vaccine made this quickly was for it to be an mRNA. So
what is the Moderna one? How does that? What is
that? I'm not 100% sure of. I would assume it's also an mRNA because it was made
I think
quickly.
So. But it doesn't have to be as cold for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I certainly don't like. What I know about the vaccines is, just what I've learned from again, like the doctors that my company works with, which they are safe. However, there is some concern about immunocompromised people taking this type of vaccine, and especially because it can actually, the first round, the Pfizer one especially, can cause some like COVID, like it can actually cause COVID symptoms before you get the second one. So it's, here's the thing, like, it's better than nothing. And I unfortunately, I think this is going to just kind of be like the flu, where this vaccine is going, because the virus keeps mutating, this vaccine is eventually, we're all going to probably have to get a COVID-19 vaccine every single year. It's not just going to go away. And also, I don't think we should talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
My main thing to talk about it was that I really want a haircut, but I'm not going to get one until I get a vaccine. That was how
no. I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying, like, I just feel like everything I do in my life, everything I do in my life, like, turns back around on like health issues and COVID-19 vaccine, because it's what I deal with at work every single day.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of, like, we just don't know. And I do know for a fact that it's going to be a long while before anybody who doesn't have a very serious health condition or work frontline, like as a frontline medical worker, can get this vaccine. And to be honest, like, I think like people who are, like, to be honest, I have asthma. I have other, I have so like 6 other things that I deal with that are actually very concerning. But like, I think that people who work in like grocery stores and shit should get this before I do. Like, and that's why I'm saying, like, even if I could get it in the second round, because I might like qualify for it, I probably won't, because I feel like somebody who is actually having to put their literal life on the line by working in like a grocery store or a gas station or a fast food restaurant, because that is the job that they have, like, they just need that more than I do. Like, they are quote, fast food, not necessarily, but unfortunately this country has deemed them essential workers. So
yeah, I think they are in the same group as people with health conditions, because how or at least in my state, because it's up to the state. Like, your state might work differently than my state, but how mine's doing it is right now it's frontline workers, and then part 1B, which it really should be 2, but 1A and then 1B. 1B is like cops, firefighters, and people over like 70 or something. And then, and people with severe conditions. And then group 2 is people with mild conditions, which is me. And then like teachers, fast food workers, everyone else who's in like front line. And then I don't remember.
God, to be honest, I think teachers should be like just behind medical workers.
I actually think they might be 1B. I think they might be in 1B as well.
I have friends who are teachers who, Anyway.
Yeah, let's we could talk all day about the ethics of the who's gonna go. But anyway,
it's gonna get fucked up in the end, so it doesn't matter.
So I'm in a, this is funny. So I've like in New York, I have like a couple like friend groups, and like my one friend group is, I actually met them because it was the like Torchwood, New York, like it was the Torchwood fan group, like 10, 12 years ago or something like that. And now it's just sort of like, we're just all friends. Every year we have a holiday party. And it's something where it was like, we rent a hotel suite not in New York because no one could afford it. But it was like some, out in Jersey. It was like it's like we decorate the room for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. We go out to dinner, we have a gift exchange. Obviously, we didn't do that this year. And so we're doing like a Secret Santa, where it was like we mailed everybody, we did the online draw because there's a bunch of online Secret Santas you can do. And then like tomorrow is the day that was like, oh, we're all going to sit down and like video chat and like open the gifts and all that kind of stuff. And I waited too late to mail my gift. And like the person that I have is like the only person that doesn't have their gift yet. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And she's visiting her family for 2 weeks for the holidays. So it's like she's now in another state. And it's like, so she doesn't get her gift. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. I feel really bad. But I can't just be like, that's my bad. Sorry. Because she doesn't know it's me. But
she will soon enough.
Yeah, well, that's why, because it's like she emailed today, and she was just like, has everybody because she's like, I haven't gotten my gift, so like, has everybody else gotten theirs? Because I don't mind still doing the thing tomorrow, and like literally everybody else has gotten theirs. So I'm just like, God, I'm so sorry, because I could have mailed it much earlier, and I didn't, because here's why. I don't really go out unless I have to, like for food, like pretty much to the market and all that kind of stuff. My post office is like, it's not that far, but like far enough that I don't want to go more often than I have to. And I have all of these gifts that I had to mail my family, and I didn't want to make multiple trips to the post office. So it's like, I didn't want to go there, pick up the boxes, then walk back to my apartment, and then later have to go back to the post office and mail everything. And my sister was like, oh, you can order boxes from the post office online. And I was like, that is amazing. I don't know why I didn't think of that. So I ordered them last Sunday. I got them yesterday. So it was like almost there was like, oh, it'll be 3 to 5 days. It was almost 2 weeks. And so like it was Sunday. It was this past Sunday, because I was chatting like with the person who I drew for the Secret Santa. And she mentioned that it was like, oh, she's like leaving today. Like she left today and she was going to be gone for 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh crap, I got to get that mailed. And I was going to go to the post office on Monday, and then it rained. And I was like, no, I'll go tomorrow. So I went on Tuesday, like early. It was like 9:30 in the morning, and I'm in the post office mailing this thing. And while I was there, I grabbed boxes to mail my family's gifts in. And so then I went on Wednesday back to the post office, because we sort of had a blizzard, and I was like, I want to make sure that I have these out before we get hit with a blizzard. And then the boxes showed up yesterday, and I'm like, see, I could have just in the first place gone to the stupid post office, mailed this freaking gift like a week earlier. She would have had it, but because I'm lazy, yeah. So now I have 5 flat rate post office boxes that I don't need.
Well, you'll have them for next year now. All right.
Well, I figured I was like, I have all that stuff. I was like, oh, maybe I can use them, because I did that Funimation unboxing like a month ago. And like some of the stuff I figured we could give away. So I was like, oh, I can use this to mail it. But I will say that I was like, I mailed 6 packages. Cost me $75.
Fun times. All right, let's move on. Let's do recommendations. We'll get through these quick, and then it looks like we have a quarantine shout out. So, but that was a good one. That was a good one. So let's do recommendations. Let's go.
Guess what my recommendation is? The thing that I can't stop talking about. Heaven Official's Blessing, Tianguan Sifu. It's much more accessible to everyone else now, because you don't have to track down a fan translation of it as a book. You can watch it on Funimation. So hello, like everyone can see it now. But I still recommend reading the book, because you get a lot more context, and it's a lot longer. It's the full complete story. If the current Donghua like keeps at its pace, it'll be done in about 10 to 12 years. So if you want to know how the story ends before 10 to 12 years, you should read the book. Also, I started watching Attack on Titan, but I don't necessarily recommend it. It's not for everyone. It's very violent and gory and dark. Not as dark as I thought it would, though. People warned me. They're like, it's so dark. But after Devilman Crybaby, where, like, spoiler, literally everybody dies, like, everyone.
Attack on Titan's not over yet, so everybody
true. Everyone can still die. But I expected mass casualties every single season, and we got to the end and like all the main characters, except for like the one, because it came down to who would get the Titan injection. That was like the only time a main character like actually died.
Yeah, see, the problem with Attack on Titan is like lots of people die, but like none of the main characters. But lots of people die. So
yeah, because literally everyone, like, I guess this is another spoiler, but like so when it comes to like what are they called, the Rangers or something, or the Scouts, yeah. Like there was a couple hundred of them to start, and now there's literally just the 9 main characters and nobody else. Everybody else is dead. Like, so lots of death, but except for the main characters who are all that survived. It's ridiculous. But I put that under recommendations, not necessarily because I actually recommend it, but just because maybe if you need something to hyperfixate on real fast, you can binge through it like I did, because I went through 61 episodes in 5 days. And it got my mind off shit for a while. And so if you need something that you can just binge all at once, that can take a few days, I guess I do recommend it. It's just you have to deal with the fact that it's got a little bit rough animation in the beginning, and it's gory and violent and dark. That sounds great. You should watch it.
All right. Well,
I watch it. Can't be that bad.
I'm gonna go next, and my recommendation is none of that. My recommendation is a K-drama called What Is Wrong with Secretary Kim. You can watch it on Hulu. It is like the most adorable, cute, romantic comedy K-drama ever. It's like a love story, and it's adorable, and like the couple, like they keep falling in each other's laps and stuff, and like weird kind of funny, cute scenarios. And like if you've never watched K-dramas before, like the editing is really cute. Like they put like little sound effects over people like blinking and stuff. It's really cute.
I wonder if that's like an age, because they do that in C dramas too, like the sound effects and and especially the falling. That was like, oh, somebody's gonna go past me really fast on their bike, and I'm gonna turn around and fall, and he's gonna catch me. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it's very like it's overly dramatic, but it's like super adorable. And in What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, the lead is Park Se-joon, and he is very good looking, and they put him shirtless in scenes for literally no reason. And he's going to get water out of his fridge, and he has no shirt on, and they're just like, okay, cool. But I appreciate that because yes. Anyway, you should watch that on Hulu. It's very cute, and it's very funny. So, all right. Who's next?
Okay. Mine are, The Expanse came back for season 5 this week. They switched it up because it was on Sci for the first 3 seasons, and so episodes came out once a week, as it does when you're airing on television. And then it moved to Amazon Prime, and when season 4 came out, it dropped all at once. And fans really didn't like that. It was very divided fandom, because I tend to get behind on shows that air weekly. Like I'll miss an episode and then I'll never catch up, and then I'll just be like, oh well, and just like never pick it up again. But so I prefer binging. But for a show like The Expanse, where it was like it's like putting together a puzzle, and it's much more fun to go week by week because you have time to think about things. Whereas if you just go to the next episode and it's like, oh, that's what happened. Okay, like you don't have, there's like no speculating really. And so what Amazon decided to do is they dropped the first 3 episodes on Wednesday, and then the rest of the episodes will come out weekly. So if you haven't already started The Expanse, we've been covering that like since the beginning. Like you really, really should. It's getting really good. And like, and this season, especially because they had a panel for The Expanse at for the virtual NYCC in October, and the way, like from what they were talking about, it sounds like this is just gonna be like a really big season. Everybody's in like different places, and there's like super major stuff happening. And like not like there was at the end of the 3rd episode, there's a like pretty big cliffhanger. So like yeah. So The Expanse, obviously, I recommend that. And also, I think way back at the beginning of the pandemic when we started these, I recommended Hilda on Netflix. It's an animated show. It's based on like I think they're Canadian graphic novels. It's about a little girl and she lives in this town and like she has adventures with things like trolls and elves and everything like that. Season 2 came out on Monday, and it's very cute. Season 1 is very cute, but like season 2 I actually like better than season 1 because all of the characters have been established, and so you don't need to do like any of the introductions or anything. It's basically just like adventure. And like her friend becomes a witch, and like she has a pet deer fox. It's very, very cute. There is a stuffed animal for it. I want it. But it's like he's like the only one of his kind around. Like nobody's ever really seen a deer fox, and he gets an entire episode where like you find out like where he came from and all this kind of stuff. And that was my favorite episode of the season, and I cried for like the last 15 minutes of it. So like it's very good, but it's like they're short episodes, so it's easy to binge. I watched it all in a day. Like
I liked Hilda. I watched the first season and I liked it, but I can't say like I was in love with it. Like it was cute. It was very, very cute. So I'm excited to hear you say that the second season is better. Like not that I didn't like it, but like it was very cute. Like I just wasn't like in love with it, you know? To be honest, I think some of it might be the binge thing, like that you didn't have to wait to see what happened, and that kind of like softened like how I felt about it.
Yeah, like this season, there's like one overarching plot, and then like each episode is obviously like a self-contained story. And actually, season 2 ends with a pretty big cliffhanger, and season 3 has not been confirmed. And so I'm just like, no. We're supposed to get a movie. That was supposed to come out this year, but obviously with COVID, I'm sure like it got pushed back. But season 3 has not yet been confirmed, and so it's just like, is there gonna be one though? But yeah, Hilda.
Well, so I guess my recommendation is it is December 19th. If you haven't watched a bunch of dumb Christmas movies, then what are you doing with your life?
Watching BTS videos on YouTube.
There's a lot of dumb.
Getting yelled at by the Duolingo owl.
yeah, exactly right. There's a lot of dumb, stupid Christmas movies out, and I'm not talking Hallmark. I'm talking like there's Netflix ones. I think there's some on Amazon Prime. I've honestly lost track of the ones that I've watched because there's been at least like 8 of them at this point. They're all very bad. Operation Christmas Drop on Netflix is terrible. But it also has one of the guys from Vikings in it. And it's got Virginia Madsen playing this like very clearly like Republican like senator that they call they only call her Congresswoman throughout the entire movie. But it is actually about a real thing that happens where the Air Force Base in Guam does like a Christmas drop of necessary items to like Micronesia and stuff like that. So it's like it's a really dumb movie, but it does actually have like a really sweet like backstory to it. And this guy, oh my gosh, I don't remember his name, and it's like Bob something, but he's like this guy that's actually been like helping orchestrate this drop for like a million years, and he actually plays himself in the movie, which is really cute. And Chief from Battlestar is in it, so it's really dumb. It's a really dumb movie, okay, but like it's got a guy from Vikings in it and a guy from Battlestar in it, and it does actually have like a really good kind of like story behind it. So that is the one I would like suggest. But there are also plenty of dumb Christmas movies. Over Thanksgiving, my friend and I watched 2 of them that were, I wish I could remember the names, but honestly, I would not suggest them to you even if I could. But like we watched one where there was this guy named Charles who was like a chef or something, and like he had this part in this movie, and I just remember the 2 of us being like, wait a minute, so like we thought he was gonna be like the guy that she falls in love with, or like he was gonna play some big part in the end, and then he didn't. We're like, well, what the fuck happened to Charles? And then we literally right after that we watched some other Canadian produced Christmas movie, some other dumb Canadian produced Christmas movie. In the very beginning of it, they had like one of those like cooking show, like cook-off things, and they were like, and Cheryl, and we were like, wait, what? And it was like the same actor and the same character, and he only was in it for like 2 seconds. But I'm not even kidding you. And to be fair, I'd been drinking, but like we had to pause the movie and cackle about it for about 10 minutes. And I wish if I can remember the name of these 2 movies, I'll comment on the YouTube with them. But they were both so bad.
They all
like
take place in the same universe.
One of them was like,
I wish more random movies would do that.
One of them was where like a private investigator was like, there was a wedding, and this girl who had never planned a wedding before was somehow like being paid to be the wedding planner for her friend's wedding, and like a private investigator was like investigating the fiance, and like it was like just, of course, at the end they got engaged, because 5 days after knowing somebody, that's what happens in real life.
Sounds very convoluted.
Oh god, it's a Christmas movie, y'all. So yeah, I'll look up. I'll figure out. I've literally tried going back through my Netflix, like what I've watched, and I can't find them. It's almost like Netflix doesn't want me to know anymore. But they were really bad. So yeah, like honestly, like take some time out of your life and watch some really terrible, really, really terrible, like rom-com style Christmas movies, because they will make you feel better about whatever is going on. They
if
really
I can
will.
sort of like tag on to that. So I don't know how many of you
please.
follow Thomas Sanders on anything. But I follow him on Tumblr and I follow him on TikTok. He did a TikTok like yesterday or the day before that it was like, oh, it's like his trailer for a Christmas movie, and it's basically all of the boyfriends that get dumped in Christmas movies because they only care about their career end up in like a polyamorous relationship that's all about money, basically. But it was just like, it was really funny because it's just, they're like, what do you mean like you're dumping me for like the like Christmas elf or something, you know? But it
I actually did. I did 2 little, like, they were for TikTok, but I posted them separately on Facebook as well, where one of them was a 60-second synopsis, or not even synopsis. It was a 60-second like act out of this Hallmark movie from like 2013 or 2014 that was called Let It Snow, I believe, with Cameron. Oh my God, DJ from Full House, Cameron, whatever the F her name is, with 600 different last names.
Candace Cameron.
But it's Candace Cameron Buell. That's what it is, Candace Cameron Buell. So, and then the other one was a 60-second reenactment of A Christmas Prince, that Netflix movie that came out a few years ago. So, they're terrible. I mean, they're absolutely terrible. But like, yeah, I had actually like a lot of fun doing them because I played like 3 to 5 different characters. This is what happens when you're a cosplayer with a bunch of wigs and no conventions to go to, you guys. Like, but so anyway, other than dumb Christmas movies, I Schitt's Creek wrapped up early this year, and Schitt's Creek is amazing. And I just was, the other day, like 3 or 4 days ago, I was in a mood and I was like, I need to watch something good. And I just started watching Schitt's Creek again. So like, if you haven't watched it, watch it. If you have watched it, watch it again. It'll make you feel good about life. Like I'm already like halfway through season 2, and I literally started this like 3 days ago. I just put it on while I work, and I'm like, I've already seen it, you know, so it's just there in the background. And like, you know, someone was saying to me when I like suggested that they watch it, they were like, oh, but it's kind of like negative at the negative. And I was like, yeah, you're watching like the first like the first half of the first season. Like, yeah, I know they seem like they're bad people, but this isn't like It's Always Sunny where they're just terrible people. This is like, they actually have good things about them, and they grow, and like I love everything about Schitt's Creek. And like, it's already, even the episodes in the beginning where they're pretty cringy, like it's still like already making me feel better about life. So
I think we can all second Schitt's Creek rewatch. Like,
yes,
I feel like that's the unofficial like Geekiary show of the year. Like, every time we have a webcast,
well, because we literally we just all watch it.
Yeah, like yeah. So seconded, third, fourth, Schitt's Creek.
All right,
I mean, seriously, it's just so good.
Sorry. Angel, you've got a quick shout out you want to give?
Yes. So I just saw it this morning. So there's been a thing where they have like a Muppets like news show for kids, so kids kind of understand like what's going on with COVID. So like the Muppets will talk with actual news reporters, and they'll have guest hosts on explaining COVID in a way that kids can understand. And this morning, or it might have been released yesterday, but it's a brand new thing. They had an interview with Dr. Fauci, and they had questions from kids for Dr. Fauci. And one of the questions is, can Santa visit? Like, can he come into the house? Are the presents safe? Like, kids are genuinely asking these really sad, heartbreaking questions. And Fauci said, yes, it's fine. I went and vaccinated Santa personally. And that it's perfectly safe to open your presents from Santa. He can come into your house. He is safe from the virus. And I just watched it, and I'm like, started crying. I'm like, oh, like,
yeah, that's like the most adorable thing I've ever heard.
It was really sweet. And like, it was part of a segment with like Elmo wearing a mask. Like, Elmo has a mask now. It's like, it was a really good segment. And yeah, I cried. And now we're all crying. But it's just, we needed that. Thank you, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, that's better than the Santa thing that happened here in South Carolina, but I won't get into that.
Oh, God. But tell us offline, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's a really good place to end, though, like on a positive, like,
yes,
that was cute. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, so we will, after the holidays, we'll probably be back doing these more regularly too. I know, I kind of do the webcasts, and my job is just finally getting to the point now where it's slowing down slightly, so it's good. Anyway, so we'll be back. When? I don't know yet.
Hopefully monthly, because that's our Patreon reward. Monthly.
Yeah.
But we'll see if we can do that.
It may not be till after I move. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, hey, I'm Erin. Along with Admin Angel, Jamie, Tara, thanks for joining us. For Feelings with the Geekiary, remember, we're a free webcast run off of donations from viewers like you. So check out our Patreon. Like Angel said, get some maybe perks and stuff. And thanks for contributing and helping our host site, The Geekiary. And we will see you next time. Enjoy your holiday season.